I'm Josh with Industrial Compressor Solutions. I'm here with Aaron. We've been showing you how to change the separator in a basket style separator housing. We've already de-energized the electricity as well as the air. We have removed all the piping, we've pulled the lid off, we've cleaned and prepped the job, and we are ready to put the lid back on and with the separator inside. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up the separator, and if we did set it on the cement, maybe make sure that it's still clean and pretty. We're going to carefully set the basket back in there. Understand that on larger compressors, this can be a relatively daunting job. Use a second person. Be careful and make sure you do this in a controlled manner. We want to make sure this goes in. At this point, if the separator does not have bolt holes, or even if it does, we want to make sure that the separator sits in there so it's not covering any of those holes. When we put the lid on, we're going to want to minimize, if any, the amount of movement that we have to do with that separator element. So once we have this on, we see that everything's good to go. We're going to carefully pick up the separator lid and we're going to put it back on. When we do that, we're going to want to do that in a controlled manner. We do not want to set the separator on the side and pinch or cut the gaskets. We don't want to slide it on and move the separator out of the way. We want to be very careful that we set it on directly in the way that it's meant to go. If for some reason that's not possible with one person, get a second person, get a rigging solution, do what you need to do to have a controlled lift of the separator. Remember, we may have used match marks to set this up, and if so, we're going to line those up. Very good. Now, at this point, we've already prepped our bolts and everything. So we are going to carefully start all of the bolts. And remember, when we checked these, we checked and made sure that they all go down to the shoulders with their threads. So if there is a problem getting one of these to set, we need to stop and figure out what that problem is. We're not going to force these. Wipe the doctor's forehead. I want to remind you, it's important to know that on some compressor designs, getting the discharge pipe back on once the separator is already bolted down is impossible. If that is the case, recognize that and soft set that discharge line while you put this on. So we've run all these bolts down to the shoulder with our fingers, and now we're going to want to use a star pattern and we're going to tighten up the bolts. Go ahead. This is going to draw the separator basket down and seal us up nice and evenly. While Aaron finishes that, I want to thank you again for watching this section of the video. We'll be back in a couple minutes to show how to put all the interconnecting pipe and the scavenge line back on. Thank you very much.